Amanda is a wife, a mother, a blogger, a Christian. When she details her cancer journey on her blog, she goes viral.
But Amanda is hiding a secret. An investigative journalist is going to figure it out.
We're previewing Scamanda.
That's on this episode of So Much Crime,
So Little Time. Welcome to So Much Crime, So Little Time. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Dee, and in this episode we'll introduce you to Scamanda from Lionsgate Sound.
If you haven't listened to Scamanda, that is great. This is one of our preview episodes.
Here we only discuss episode 1 and introduce you to the series. There's no spoilers for what's to come.
And you'll also find a link to Scamanda in our show notes.
In our next episode, we'll discuss the whole series. But right now, we just want to decide if this is a crime that's worth your time.
All right, Dee, before we get into the story, let's hop in the time machine. So this crime that we're talking about started back in October of 2012 in San Jose, California.
San Jose? Jeff, guess what? That's real close to us.
I go to San Jose like a couple times a week.
Okay, I've got 5 questions. Are you excited? I have not vetted them. Multiple choice fun fact questions about the top movies in the US in October 2012. First of all, this is a side note, but it's interesting that this movie came up because it's the I'm going to find you. I'm going to use my special skills.
Taken. Liam Neeson.
Yes, Taken 2 dominated the October 2012 box office. But what unusual method did Liam Neeson's character, Brian Mills, use in the film to determine his location while blindfolded? Do you know the answer to this, or should I give you choices?
I have never seen any of the Taken movies.
Great. Okay. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Option 1. He used a sophisticated GPS device hidden in his watch.
Okay.
I think I was about to do a real mom thing there where I do option 1. Option B... You know, when they don't keep the... Okay, that was option A. Option B, he listened for specific car horn patterns he had memorized.
Okay.
Option C, he instructed his daughter to throw grenades so he could triangulate his position based on the sound. Option D, he relied on his heightened sense of smell to identify his surroundings.
I mean, the grenades is the coolest.
Okay. But is it the right one?
I'm going to go with that. I want that one to be right.
You are. Ding, ding, ding.
Are you
Correct.
kidding? That is really in Taken 2?
Apparently, I again, look, I did not fact check this, but Gemini tell me it's in Taken 2.
Okay.
So, very fun. Add it to your list of movies to, never watch. Okay. Hotel Transylvania was a hit animated movie. Have you seen it?
I've seen parts of it. It's been on in my house.
In October 2012, which famous comedic actor provided the voice for Count Dracula in this film?
Isn't it Adam Sandler?
Yeah, good hustle. My new phrase to Fia is good hustle, Jack Russell. It was like good hustle, and then it was like good hustle Russell, and then she loves dogs, so now it's good hustle Jack Russell.
That's amazing.
So that's what I say. She's going to say it someday to people, and they're going to be like, what is happening? But anyway, this is such is life in our house. Yeah, basically. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm good with being the weird mom. Okay, Argo. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay. A critically acclaimed film released in October 2012 was directed by and starred which actor? Who also sports a notable beard in the movie? Which is such a funny aside.
It's Ben Affleck.
Indeed it is.
Also,
I don't know if I've seen Argo. What's that movie about again? Maybe I have.
It's a great movie. It is about the CIA's attempt to get the Americans out of Iran in like the 70s. Some of those facts are probably right. It's a great movie. It's very funny. It's very tense. It's very well made.
Funny and tense. I don't know. In this day and age, the type of movie I want to watch is Pitch Perfect, charmed audiences in October 2012 with its a cappella groups. Tell me, you have seen this, haven't you?
I feel like I've seen 17 hours of Pitch Perfect movies, but never sat down and watched one willingly or from start to finish.
It's actually a very good movie. In Pitch Perfect, the Barden Bellas develop a signature sound. What unexpected instrumental sound do they famously incorporate into their a cappella performances, often surprising and delighting audiences? Is it A, the strumming of a ukulele, B, the beat of a drum kit played with their hands, C, the scratching of a DJ turntable using only their voices, or D, the sounds of beatboxing and percussive mouth noises?
I'm going to do the record scratch one.
Okay. It was actually the sounds of beatboxing and that word, mouth noises. Percussive. The Bard and Bellas, particularly through the talents of characters like Aubrey and Stacey, though Stacey's contributions were more unique, I don't know what that means, heavily relied on beatboxing and various mouth-made percussion sounds to create the instrumental backing for their songs. This was a key element of their signature a cappella song. Okay, last one. Are you ready?
Can't wait.
Paranormal Activity 4. How much did you watch this shite?
Less than 0.
Okay, great. This is the spooky sequel to 1, 2, and 3 from October 2012. Continued its found footage style. What low budget was the original Paranormal Activity reportedly made for?
Do I have choices?
So was it? Yep.
Okay.
Around $500,000? $15,000? About $2 million? Or $100 million?
It's not $100 million. That's not low budget.
Oh, sorry. I read that number totally wrong. It's just 100,000.
The lowest one was 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that.
500,000, 15,000, 2 million, 100,000.
15,000.
Ding, ding, ding.
I got that one?
Yeah.
That's so little.
You got all but one. It's only the...
Pitch Perfect?
Mm.
Okay, I have a song for you. This was a song that never hit number 1. It was in the top 5 throughout the month of October, and it hit number 4 in Ireland.
Okay.
And I want to see how quickly you can get this off the lyrics. This is a song that I'm pretty sure you know. It goes like this. I remember when we broke up.
Is it Taylor Swift?
It is Taylor Swift.
I remember when we broke up thinking, we're never getting back together.
Yeah.
I never, ever, ever.
Technically never,
I
ever.
don't like
Yeah.
that song.
Okay. All right. I have a TripAdvisor review for you. Ready for that?
I feel like you needed to congratulate me more on that one, whatever.
You
Yes, TripAdvisor. I'm good.
Wait, did you get that
That's
after broke up? Did I get to the first time? Did I say the first time?
You said we are never, ever, ever. And I said,
I
no,
said,
what
I
did you
remember
say?
when we broke up the
Oh,
first
really?
time.
I think it's... No, I don't think you did the first time.
So you got it with less than one line of that song. It's pretty good.
Yes.
And it's pretty generic lyrics because she's a pretty generic lyric writer. You just got real.
Have you listened to All Too Well, the 10-minute version?
No.
Okay. Watch the SNL performance and come back to me.
All right. So this
I
crime.
listened to, like, The Face in You as well. How much Van Halen did I listen to?
And how much did you like it? You loved it.
Yeah, but you're not listening to Taylor Swift. Maybe we should do a Taylor Swift thing. Oh my God, I'd be so good at that.
I'm willing to try. I feel like I have disregarded her, but maybe she's better than I think.
She is.
I've watched many clips of her live show, and I'm very impressed with what she does there. Also, I saw a picture of her next to Sabrina Carpenter, which makes me laugh because Sabrina Carpenter is so small. She's tiny.
She's tiny.
Okay. This crime took place in San Jose, which is a place you and I know well. And so I went to TripAdvisor. I looked at the top 10 restaurants, and I knew several of them. I picked one that was one of the top 10 restaurants. It is called The Smoking Pig. Have you been to The Smoking Pig?
Ooh. No. Where is it?
There's 2 locations. One is on, I think, 4th Street in San Jose, kind of near Japantown. The other one is right next to the soccer stadium, actually, their second location.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you eaten there?
I have. I have a story. I actually have a crazy story about eating there that we could start there if you want, or I could end there. But
Go on. Start there.
okay. So I went there on Labor Day in about 19 or so.
First Monday of September for all you non-Americans.
We got a babysitter, and
It's a bank holiday. We don't go to work that day. Okay. But babysitters in Jeff's side do. Okay.
so we got a babysitter and went out. It was 2018. It was a while. It was when our kids were young enough to need a babysitter, and we went to this restaurant because we like barbecue. And we get there, and so it's a holiday. So it's like the Monday of a holiday weekend, and we say, "Oh, we want I don't know, ribs or brisket or something." And the waitress takes our order, goes away. Half an hour goes by. She comes back, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're actually out of that." Like, okay, then let's get I don't
Oh
know.
my God, is this gonna be a review like January Bride '01?
So we order like the pulled pork or something. She says, okay. She goes away for like a half an hour. She comes back. She says, actually, we're out of the pulled pork. That went on. We were there for about 2.5 hours. At one point, we finally just said, just whatever meat you have, bring us your meat and we will eat it. And they did. And it was good. And then they said, we're going to actually give you a free dessert. I said, great. They had a peanut butter pie. That sounded good. I said, I'll get the peanut butter pie. And she said, okay. 15 minutes goes by. She comes back. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. We're actually out of that. So,
did you think you were being punked?
A little bit. We were there.
Did she ruin your special occasion?
I think we were there for like 2.5 to 3 hours. We ate. They ended up comping our entire meal, which I think ended up costing well over $100 because we drank. We did end up getting meat. It just was like our fourth and fifth choice. Other time we went there was my birthday.
Very, very important day in your life.
2020.
Oh, right before.
We were in the restaurant. It was not crowded. They had TVs in the restaurant that had CNN on. And we're like, should we be out at a restaurant right now? That was the last restaurant I went to before the pandemic. That was the week that everything shut down.
So, okay, taking those two events, those two evenings into account, are you going to go back to the Smoking Pig?
I've never been back to that location. We've only gone back to the other location, the one by the soccer stadium. I don't know if I'll ever go back to that one. Okay, I want to be clear. This is one of the top rated restaurants in San Jose. There are 625 reviews. It has an average rating of 4.2.
Okay.
291 perfect 5-star reviews, but I picked 1-star reviews.
Sound of you. Focus on the negative.
Is from Big Mighty 1984.
Oh, Jesus.
The title, this is from January of 2019. The title of the review is, How Do You Spell Diarrhea? Spoiler in that title.
That's a great title for a restaurant review.
Actually, I think they spelled it wrong too.
I mean, that's even funnier because they're asking the question.
They did spell it wrong.
It's also
Oh no, they spelled it right. They spelled it right.
It's a really hard word to spell.
It is a hard word to spell. Okay, it's a 2-liner. Here's the review in its entirety. Working class barbecue joint. Good luck finding parking at lunchtime. Staff is friendly enough, and the Friday burrito lunch special is gigantic. Okay tasting, but not worth an entire weekend on the pot.
That's a really nice review for someone who's shat themselves for 2 days straight. Like that's much sounder than January Bride put down.
It's a pretty good review. All right, this next one is a little bit of a journey, but
what was his name? Big Meaty 1984.
Big Mighty 1984.
Okay, same thing. Okay, I think he's pretty sound. Like
Also,
that was pretty funny.
From St. Petersburg, I presume Florida. 41 contributions to TripAdvisor. So from out of town, not from around here.
Or has moved here, like a lot of people. You included.
Fair enough. This is a place where one of their most famous appetizers are called wolf turds, which are,
okay,
you take a jalapeno, you hollow out the seeds, you fill it with sausage and cheese, then you wrap it with bacon, and then you smoke it, I think.
This is why Big Meaty 1984 had...
Big Mighty.
Big Mighty 1984 had diarrhea if he's eaten. He probably took a bite into that and didn't expect to have jalapenos in there.
Those wolf turds were so good, I have made those a dish that I now make at home.
Okay, great. But he obviously can't tolerate the spice of the jalapeno. And
Sure.
It was flying out of him all weekend.
But he did learn how to spell diarrhea, so I feel like he came out of this ahead.
This is true. And he also gave a really good review.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe the funniest review. It's the title for me winning at life, I think.
All right.
Big Mighty? What's his name? Big Mighty 1984.
Big Mighty 1984.
Okay.
All right. That was our time machine for today.
Love that.
What a time.
Before we jump into today's episode, we just need to make a really big announcement here, and that is just to say, Stacey, welcome. Welcome to patreon.com/so much crime, so little time. I hope you're enjoying your longer time machines, your early release episodes, your bonus contents, your outtakes, and the warm fuzzy feeling you get when you're supporting the show. Stacey, great job. Welcome to the family. We love it.
All right, let's talk about Scamanda. So this podcast, I feel like, is one of the more famous ones we've ever talked about. So maybe you've already heard of it. Maybe you've already listened to it. Maybe you're just here to see what we think of it. But let's quickly run down what it's about.
Before you start, Jeff, I want you to mention that one of our Patreon listeners suggested that we cover this podcast. And so...
Oh, yeah, that's true, isn't it? Thank you, Jessica, for recommending that we cover Scamanda. Here we are, doing it just for you and everyone else.
Just for you, nobody else. Nobody else listen. Everyone else pause. Go away.
All right, so Scamanda came out in the summer of 2023. The host is a person named Charlie Webster. Charlie, fascinating website. If you go to charliewebster.com, she identifies herself as journalist, speaker, advocate, athlete. And I just want to say, if I said, hey, D, on our So Much Crime, So Little Time website that is currently in development and coming soon to a website near you,
that you were an athlete. Is that what you're going to say?
We need to have a tab just dedicated to the marathons I've run. I think you would tell me to go fuck myself.
Well, yeah, probably, but in a nicer way. Well, on air, maybe in a nicer way. But she's also like a sports journalist. Like one of her big plays here is that one of her biggest moments, as she notes at the start of this, is that she hosted the Olympics in 2012.
Yeah, but
in
not
London.
Personally,
so,
like she didn't run in the Olympics.
No, she hosted it. So her point is this is a connection to being a sports journalist. When you host the Olympics, Jeff, I will let you put whatever you want on our little tab on our little website.
Two things to say about that. One, do I want to be her friend? Of course I want to be her friend.
Indeed you do.
Two, do you know how many marathons she's run compared to how many marathons I've run?
How many English degrees does she have?
I don't know. But anyway, she's run
and
16
how many episodes
marathons.
of a podcast? How many episodes of a podcast has she recorded?
Well, funny thing about that, there's only 8 episodes of Scamanda, plus a bunch of bonus episodes, whereas we have 1,000.
So what you're trying to tell Charlie Webster is that you're beating her at life.
Yeah, but if she wants to come on the show, I'd be delighted to talk to her.
So sorry, she's run 16 marathons, and what are you at?
26.
Okay, but what age is she?
It's like this many more. I don't know. I didn't look up her, I don't have her social security number. I don't.
Well, you know a lot about her, and also it's really
it's on her website.
Important. Yeah, but it's really important.
It was the first thing
When's
I clicked
the last marathon? When's the last marathon you ran?
We don't want to talk about that.
When's the last marathon you ran, Jeff?
It's been a bit. There was this global pandemic, and
okay, and I'm sure Charlie Webster also went through it, seeing as she's in the world, and so maybe she's 42 years of age, Jeff.
Oh, we're
how old are you, Jeff?
Age. I'm in my 40s.
Anyway,
all right, so Scamanda,
she's younger than you, and she's going to be able to, in 2023, she's going to catch up.
When I was her age,
go on, Charlie.
I had already run 26 marathons. There are 8 episodes plus a bunch of bonus episodes. They really range in length. They're anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour and a half long. This is kind of all over the place. A lot of ads too. It's definitely some, I think the first episode is 5 minutes before we get into the actual episode at the beginning.
I know, it's painful.
But let's talk about that first episode.
First episode, we meet Amanda. When she was 17, a couple, Alicia and Corey Riley, brought her into their home to help boost the spirits of Alicia's daughter, Jamie, who was battling cancer. She was only 8 years old. And Amanda, being interested in cheerleading, came in to help teach her some cheerleading with Jamie and her cousins to kind of get her morale up and get her really focused on, the brighter side of things. After a few years, Corey decided to leave his wife and started a relationship with Amanda. Now, Amanda was 12 years younger than him. Soon after that relationship started, they had a baby together. And Amanda started a blog. And the blog was all about Amanda's own battle with cancer. So she successfully beats the disease towards the end of episode 1. But then, shock, it returns. She posts about it, but also says, you know, the big blocker right now is the money they need for all the medical bills. This episode kind of ends with the introduction of Nancy. She just received a tip to look into Amanda and to look into her blog. And that's where we're left for episode 1. It was a lot. Wasn't that long of an episode, and it covered a lot. So, Amanda. No.
Scamanda.
Jeff, not Amanda. Tell me, where do you want to start?
Where do we want to start? I had a real hard time keeping track of who was who because there's Amanda. She's at the center of this. She's married to Corey. Mm-hmm. Corey used to be married to Alita. They had a daughter, but Corey also had a daughter with... No, Corey had a daughter with Alita named Jessa.
Yes.
But then Alita had this other daughter, Jamie, the one who had cancer. But that Corey was not Jamie's father. No.
And then Amanda and Corey had Carter.
Yes. And there's Gail, who is Alita's mom.
Yes. And then there was Miss...
Mahaste.
Mahaste, yeah. The daycare provider.
Yeah.
It was interesting that she's introduced because she's only in there for a little bit. But I'm like, she's obviously very relevant to the rest of the story. Or else she's just randomly in episode 1. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think this was really... So I've listened to this first episode now, I think 3 times. And I think, like, I understand everything that happened, but a lot happens. We don't actually hear about the crime that we know is coming, right? It's in the title of the podcast. She is scamming people. It's pretty sure they wouldn't call it Scamanda unless that was where this is going. But we don't actually hear that. That never actually comes up directly in this episode. It's all backstory, really.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot of information in about 40 minutes or so. Maybe it's like less than 40 minutes so you take out the ads. Wait, what do you think?
So I have some issues with this podcast right now in this episode. Obviously, as you said, from the title, we're talking about a scam. Mm-hmm. But from the get-go, I feel like there's a strong bias going on here. The narration of, you know, the blog posts.
Yeah.
They chose the most annoying, not even annoying voice, but obviously whoever is narrating that is putting on this. How can I be the most annoying version of myself?
You mean when she says things like, best husband ever. Screw you, cancer. I'm going to rock that platinum blonde wig. That kind of shit. Yeah.
He was by my side the whole time. Best husband ever. Like, oh yeah, you're getting your head shaved because you've cancer and your husband is also there. So he's the best. Like, that's a real low bar, to be honest. To be honest, if I was getting my head shaved for any reason, particularly if I'm sick and my husband is just there holding my hand, like, that's like the least you would expect of him. So my point is, it feels like episode 1 is teeing you up to dislike Amanda straight off the bat. And obviously, if it's called Scamanda, I'm going to guess like she's not the soundest person ever. I mean, she already like ran off with Corey and is trying to steal Jessa, which I'm going to get into in a sec because that's so confusing to me. But right now, we hear one side of a story and it feels like you're trying to accentuate the evilness of Amanda through the narration, but you don't need to do that. If someone is scamming people out of money and pretending to have cancer, you don't need the dramatics here.
Yeah.
That is a shitty thing to do. We don't need an extra annoying voice for that.
Yes, I agree. It was a little over the top.
And maybe if you're going to do that, you are over the top. And maybe they're like, well, look, we did some research and people said this is the way she would have spoke if she was saying that. Like, maybe that is what happened here and we just haven't seen that. But it just felt very much like we're going to paint her as bad as we can. Again, I take it. She is obviously bad, but like...
There is a trope in these podcasts that we listen to that doesn't come up a ton, but it comes up every once in a while, where they're doing the same thing of having an actor read something written, whether it's a text or a blog. And they also play like the keyboard clickety-clack kind of sound. And it just, like, it's never smooth. Like, it always kind of connotes some type of like mocking tone. That's definitely true here. But one thing that stuck out to me was Okay, so Amanda's at the center.
Connote in relation to denote? Imply
Similar.
or suggest?
Yes. Very similar. What we don't get here that I was curious about, a couple things. One is just like the portrait we're getting of Amanda is kind of all bad, but she did come into this household and help these girls when one of them had cancer and the other one was super young. And then the other thing I wondered about was, what's Corey's deal? Like, Corey's the one who leaves his wife for, I mean, she wasn't 17 when he left his wife. She was a little bit older, but she wasn't that much older. And then fights for custody for the daughter that he had with Alita. But also, while he was still married to Alita, clearly favored Jessa over Jamie.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yes, yeah. But the story we hear about that of like, you know, he's just buying much more elaborate presents for one girl instead of the other. Like it sounded real bad. Like he comes off like it's just bits of that, but he's not the center of the story.
Yeah, I find Corey is such an interesting. I think he comes across terribly, but there's such bias. I think at least we have Amanda's words here. We have nothing from Corey.
Right.
And okay, look, I know it's a low bar, but we have in fact discussed men who move their babysitter in and start an affair in the house when the kids are still there. It seems like he left and then a start of a relationship happened and then they got together. Like that seems to be how it went. And even Alita would say that, or seems to be suggesting that. I don't know. I felt like there was even this big play on the fact that he's 12 years older than her. I mean, again, this happens. I know it's really unorthodox how Amanda was introduced into the home. But again, it doesn't feel as bad as we've seen before, but it really feels like they're playing up how horrendous this is.
I think they are playing out like it's very dramatic, but also there is such inherent drama in the story. I mean, you start with an 8-year-old with cancer.
But that's my point. This story is, episode 1 is, there is so much. It is so wild. We don't need all the extra shite. You don't need to dramatize anything here. Even like the fact that they didn't even mention, it was sort of mentioned, but it was never leaned on. Amanda, and it probably will be when they start speaking about Amanda scamming people. Amanda even claiming to have cancer on Jessa. Let's just focus on Jessa.
Yeah.
The impact of that on Jessa, who has already seen her sister go through this.
Her older sister too. Jessa was very young when
Jamie was 8.
And Jessa was like 2 or something when it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so messed up.
Is there a way you could possibly listen to this and like Amanda?
No. That voice is so annoying.
I agree. I don't like.
But like, I don't know if I could like her from the get-go, to be honest. I'm sorry for anyone who's done this, but like her getting with this guy who is married, being in their house and then deciding that that's the man she wants to marry, which, you know, presumably that's what happened. And then them getting together. But then I think the thing that really gets on my nerves is them wanting Jessa like full custody of her, because that is so selfish. That's nothing to do with you and wanting the man. That's nothing to like, that's you being spiteful about the child. It's not helpful for the child to be split away.
If you don't believe that these two people could just truly be in love, then you don't believe in
they
Bill
might
Belichick
be in love
and his 24-year-old.
Well, we don't talk about that. We are not talking about that. Wasn't that her thing? Did you not get my reference there?
What is that a reference to?
He was being interviewed.
Oh, yeah.
And she just went, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. That one had landed so much better. How do you understand what that guy's reference?
Yeah, I was late on that.
But yeah, it's the full custody thing. It's just like, that's just fucking, that's weird. And this whole bonus daughter, I've heard this phrase before, and I'm sure some people like appreciate it. I don't know whether it was like the tone of the voice and the narration. My bonus daughter. Oh, go fuck yourself. I need to box this woman in the face. Like, this is so annoying.
Can I say, you pitched us doing Scamanda like a year ago.
I did.
I listened to the first episode, and I think bonus daughter was the thing. Like, I just can't. I can't with this woman.
Yeah, but then you made me listen to Finding Ruby. We were like, I need a break. Jeff, I'm going to be broken. I want to give out about someone's tone of her voice.
How excited are you to keep listening to Scamanda?
I have a feeling that this is going to be very fucking irritating, but maybe that might be good for us. Maybe we'll just have a good bitch about.
Palate cleanser.
It's like a palate cleanser. Yeah, let's talk about someone who has like had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Well, I also remember when this happened and this news broke. That was another thing I said to you when I didn't want to cover this. Was like, I remember this story. I know this story because this was big in the news when it happened. I don't think I lived here. No, I did live here then. Yeah, I lived here then. I am going to predict that there's a lot, like this is a long one. Like there's like in terms of hours, just because like that last episode is an hour and a half long. There's all these bonus episodes. I'm not committing right now to listening to the bonus episodes, but we'll see how it goes. But just the proper next 7 episodes are almost 7 hours long. That's with ads. So I'm going to pop this on 1.5 and power through it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll bring you our full recap. And maybe Jeff is going to take Charlie Webster on and how many marathons you can run by the time you're 50.
If you have thoughts on how our voices sound, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear it. Also, give us a rating if you haven't yet on Apple or on Spotify. We love those 5-star ratings. And be sure to tell a friend. If you want to write a blog about your thoughts on our podcast, we would love that. If you want to make stuff up about it, if you want to give a tip to an investigative journalist that she should really listen to our show and maybe do a podcast on it, that would be great too. If you want to run a marathon.
Tell her not to fact check our time machine, because who knows?
If you want to run a marathon and as you cross the finish line, just hold up some of our swag. That's great. If you want some of our swag, go over to patreon.com/so-much-crime, so little time, and we'll get you some swag. Next time. What happened when Amanda's cancer returned?
And what secrets about Amanda did Nancy uncover?
We'll be discussing all of Scamanda.
That's on the next So Much Crime.
So Little Time.
So Much Crime, So Little Time is a production of MimeGov Media. The executive producer is Paxton Calariso. Our associate producer is Blythe Ty. Theme music was composed by Vyacheslav Starostin. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to this show in your podcast app. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and a review. Even better, tell your friends. To join the discussion, look for us on social media. Check out the show notes for all the links. Thanks for listening.
It's kind of fun to say Scamanda.
Scamanda.